Bottle evil does not open, double male lead, smoking CPStrange and bizarre plot, hahaha. The famous tomb raiding novels online have become memories of countless people's youth. Belief is existence, existence is rationality. This is a statement that netizens all agree with, believing that it is another world that exists. In the novel, the ending of Wu Xie suddenly receiving a boxed lunch in his notes is difficult for countless netizens to accept, and they all express that he is a human being. How could the protagonist die? The sad and angry emotions of netizens cause the unexpected intersection of time and space, and the idea of rewriting the ending merged into a living creature, entering their world and leading Wu Xie to find a way to rebirth. However, the process was tortuous, with unpredictable blessings and misfortunes. Living beings with visions only found the dying and innocent. Chapter 1. Death. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 2. Zhang Qiling. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 3. Stickman. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 4. Rebirth. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 5. False. Real. You are listening at novel full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 6. Lungs. You are listening at novel full.audio. Don't make a fuss. Zhang Qiling pressed Wu Xie with one hand and touched the little dog's head with the other. Pang Pang said, "Is it possible that these two people have an affair?" Wu Xie is still struggling. He wants to go out. Although this illusion is beautiful, what if? The bottle. He can still live. The more I think about it, the more sad it becomes, especially in the arms of a very real bottle. Innocent. Little brother, let go of him, I'm dizzy. Doctor. The chubby guy ran out in a flash to find a doctor for Xiao Nai. Doctor, why did you suddenly faint? Did you suffer an internal injury? The fat man and Zhang Qiling stared at the doctor, afraid that the female doctor would spit out cold words from her warm mouth. It's not a big deal to be impatient. That beautiful female doctor, take off the instrument and comfort these two family members. Hey, thank you, doctor. The doctor is beautiful and kind-hearted. Zhang Qiling pulled back the chubby man lying at the door and said, let Wu Xie check his lungs. Lung. You feel like there's something wrong with Xiaonai's lungs. Good boy, I'll arrange it now. The fat man ran to the front desk in a flash. Zhang Qiling sat on the chair next to Wu Xie's bed, quietly watching him. Suddenly, she smiled silently and gently stroked Wu Xie's eyes and hands until her legs stopped. A sense of sadness emanated from the body, yet joy mixed in. When the chubby guy returned, he saw Wu Xie lying quietly in bed, while the little brother, who didn't eat human fireworks and was like a god, grabbed Wu Xie's hand and left a tear in his eyes. These emotions have never been expressed by the young man, and even the slightest emotion on his face is unforgettable. This trip to the West Queen Mother's palace has changed quite a bit. Is it difficult for the Queen Mother of the West to treat facial paralysis? That's really the right thing to do. Little brother, everything has been arranged. I'll push little Naive to shoot the film later. The fat man looked at Wu Xie and then at the little brother, but couldn't hold back in the end. Little brother, what's wrong with you too? It feels very strange. Why don't you also check the little innocent's head? Fatty people dare not say that they should also check their heads for the young man. No need, Wu Xie thought it was an illusion, just wake up and it will be fine. Mirage. When did it happen? Can it continue until now? Will there be any sequelae that day? Zhang Qiling looked at the anxious fat man, a bit strange, as if he had not returned. I don't know. I don't think so. He woke up after sleeping, Wu Xie. It should be similar. The fat man felt relieved when he heard the young man say this. The young man's words are more useful than doctors. He said that if it's okay, it must be okay. The fat man looked at the film taken by Wu Xie, up, down, back, and forth, unable to understand. Doctor, what's the situation? Why aren't you talking? People are fine, nothing's wrong. You young people, smoke less. Otherwise, when you get old, your lungs will turn black. The old doctor tidied up his things while speaking, urging him to call the next one. Fatty and Zhang Qiling pushed Wu Xie back to the ward together, and the two of them stared intently at Wu Xie. The fat man stared at him and started to daydream. When he asked the young man to say this, he thought he was in an illusion and his behavior was abnormal. But they did not come into contact with hallucinogenic objects or any specific environment. Moreover, little Naive's behavior in the illusion is also too strange. She has always believed that little brother is fake, so little Naive trusts Fat Master so much. So since he thinks the little brother is fake, why is it in the desert suddenly looking at the little brother's mouth and then at the innocent child? Chapter 7. Fat and Rich Spots. You are listening at novel full.audio. Suddenly looking at the little brother's mouth and then at the innocent child. The fat man looked back and forth several times, and even the young man noticed his abnormality. He asked in his eyes what was wrong. The fat man patted his thigh and said, "Fat student, you found Huadian." Zhang Qiling was startled by the sound of the fat man patting his thigh. He glanced at Wu Xie and turned his head to look at the fat man. The chubby guy was a bit flustered by the young man's gaze, but he couldn't bear to give up his big melon in his heart. Zhang Qiling only occasionally went crazy when he saw the fat man, and there was nothing wrong, so he continued to look at Wu Xie. About 3 seconds later, the fat man touched his shoulder and turned his head to look at him. The fat man's serious face and deep eyes were staring at him with his mouth open, trying not to say anything. What's going on? Is it difficult for Wu Xie's lung to have problems now? I don't seem to have missed the doctor's words, have I? Looking at the fat man, let's not say anything. Zhang Qiling couldn't help feeling a bit impatient and looked at him coldly, saying, "What's wrong with Wu Xie? Little innocent, are you and little innocent? I have seen everything and understand everything, so there is no need to cover up in front of me. Am I your brother? Are we the Iron Triangle? Why didn't you tell me? You shouldn't have kept it from anyone. Does Third Lord know about your situation? When I went to the West Queen Mother's palace, Pan Zi didn't tell Fat Master either. You all kept it from me. Can't I just believe it? How many times have we gone through life and death? When hasn't Fat Master handed over his back to you? Ah! Don't tell me anything. It's a shame that the Taoist priest even said we are the Iron Triangle. I think it's a fart, not even a fart. The more the fat man spoke, the more he felt they were sorry for him. For the first time, he pointed at them and cursed angrily, crying and losing face. I'm not afraid of my little brother kicking him now. Zhang Qiling looked at the fat man for a while and said, "What are you talking about?" The fat man looked at Zhang Qiling, who had an innocent expression on his face, an innocent, who was sleeping soundly. He couldn't breathe out in one breath and his face turned red as he held it back. Sitting on the chair, completely speechless. The fat man who calmed down thought that the young man was a level 9 life disability and might really not know what he was talking about. When the fat man thought about this possibility, he didn't get angry and ran back to the young man. Are you and Xiao Naijin dating? What? The little innocent in the desert thought it was in an illusion and felt like she was dying. Before she died, she also wanted to kiss you a few times, her mouth turning red. Zhang Qiling hesitated for a moment and said, in the desert, Mother of the West. Yes, at that time, Xiaonai suddenly went crazy. After kissing you, she fainted. You were unconscious at that time, and then I carried the fat guy back. Later, he was saved by Zhoma and the others. Zhang Qiling doesn't remember, he hasn't come back yet at that time. I don't know. Of course you didn't know. When you came out of the meteorite cave, you were in a coma and kept saying, there's no time left. No, it's time. The Bronze Gate. Before coming, those wandering spirits told themselves that they needed to go inside the gate once and receive something after returning. Little brother, what's the situation between you two? If you don't mean anything to him, you'd better explain it to Xiao Nai to be good to both of you. The fat man shook his head when he saw the young man, feeling a chill in his heart. Yeah, it's over. Little innocent, this is unrequited love. According to the stubborn temper of the little innocent, the two of them had some quarrels. But my little brother is usually very kind to me, I feel like both of us are a bit together. Can it be difficult, young man? Don't want to take responsibility. Chapter 8. Multiple Trees. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Zhang Qiling watched the chubby man's changing expression and occasionally glanced at him. I had some doubts, but in the end, I just glanced lightly at the fat man, didn't speak, and continued to look at Wu Xie. The fat man stared at the little brother and looked up and down. Apart from his poor brain and inability to remember things, he was good at everything. He usually doesn't like to talk, but he is also kind-hearted. Just because he runs fast to save people doesn't necessarily mean he doesn't want to be irresponsible. The chubby man couldn't figure it out, so he had to wait until Xiaonai woke up and advised him not to hang himself from a tree. He has small hair and looks good. He also has a lot of money. The two of them took turns guarding Wu Xie in the hospital. Fatty people not only go to buy food, but also go to the front desk to bully the little girl and look for some beautiful things for Wu Xie on the way. When Wu Xie woke up, his nose was filled with the smell of disinfectant, which was too choking. I feel nostalgic again, I haven't smelled the choking smell for a long time. Cough. Cough. The sunlight shines through the window, gently spreading on the hospital bed, clothes, and skin, warm and cozy. Gently raise your hand, half blocking the sunlight from your eyes. Outside the window, there are many sparrows chirping on the branches of the trees, and occasionally looking at the people on the bed through the window. Zhang Qiling pushed open the door of the ward and saw Wu Xie shining brightly with a gentle smile. Wu Xie was about to speak when he saw the fat man push Zhang Qiling away and sneak in himself. Little brother, fat guy, it's you who saved me again. What about the blind and the little flower? How's Xiao doing? The fat man listened to Wu Xie's series of questions and felt a bit confused. He had a hallucination and was in such good spirits. What saved you? Didn't we go to the hospital together? I treated my little brother, but he recovered on his own. In the end, it turned out to be for you. Didn't the blind man and the flower master leave early? They left the West Queen Mother's palace first. We only left when we received the young man. Isn't Xiao always at the Hua family? Wu Xie felt something was wrong as he listened. It's not like that. Is he still in the illusion? Who on earth arranged the game? Is the new Zhongzi that we met at the beginning already in the fairyland? Even if one has a unique physique, it is impossible to see a matchstick person with no face or body in reality. And I have been climbing for countless days without even noticing any leg distortion. I only noticed it when I took a break, and only then did the pain follow. Furthermore, how could I have climbed safely all the way to the Bronze Gate of Changbai Mountain? Everything else is unreasonable, and the worst possible scenario is that after the sacrifice falls, one enters an illusion. At present, only hexagonal bronze bells allow people to enter hallucinations without realizing it. Is it really Zhang Hake? Naive. Little innocent. His thoughts were suddenly interrupted, and Wu Xie looked at the fake fat man with a murderous expression on his face. Fat master is talking to you. What are you doing looking at Fat Master like this? Get out of the way. Wu Xie pushed away the fat man and silently walked towards the window, hiding himself and quietly looking outside, trying to find surveillance objects or people. Little brother, what's wrong with naivety? Do you still think we're his hallucination? Zhang Qiling ignored the fat man pulling his clothes and frowned as he looked at Wu Xie. He is conducting counter-investigations and searching for flaws in what he believes to be hallucinations. Zhang Qiling knew that Wu Xie's 10 years had not been easy, and he grew up quickly without his knowledge, not indulging in the innocence of the past. Chapter 9. Crazy Literature. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text. Chapter 10. Maybe. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. De co lois ara trong quatrin lay text.